Welcome to Live to 120 with Bracha, a podcast about health and wellness, empowering you to live long and live strong. Today we're talking about why sometimes it's not what we're eating, but what's eating us. Let's talk mindset, metabolism, Ozempic, and how to rebuild your relationship with food. Ilana Muhlstein is a registered dietitian, best-selling author, and the creator of the 2B mindset. Ilana, welcome to Live to 120.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Now, you have these incredible books with us. Tell us a little bit about these books, why you wrote them, and who you are.
Yeah, this is my first book. You can drop it. This really explains my journey, how I've lost 100 pounds and how I've helped my clients do it too. And the cool thing about it is you just brought up in the introduction, Ozempic. My whole book is lined in the entire book. You're going to see before and after pictures, as so many of my clients shared their beautiful before and after pictures and all their testimonials throughout the book. And this was way before Ozempic was even created, so that's nice. And then this is my follow-up cookbook. And for this, I was really obsessed with having big, full-color, stunning pictures of all the food, because my favorite thing is when parents tell me that their kids just go through the book and are like dog-earing the pages and want to make everything, because these are high-volume, low-cal, high-protein meals that are satisfying and easy.
So you hinted a little bit about your 100-pound weight loss journey. Tell us a little bit, for those who don't know you, what is your journey? How did you get into this field?
So I was morbidly obese as a kid. As early as I can remember, I was always the heaviest kid in my classroom. Back then, pediatric obesity wasn't even as prevalent and common. So I was like one kid out of 60. Maybe there was one other who was severely overweight. There was definitely like no kids that looked like that, or other kids on television shows or mannequins that would represent that body type. So I was wearing Gap adults when my friends were still in kids for years. And it was something I really struggled with. It was something that was kind of my identity, even though I tried to hide it. I always had confidence. I was always friends with the popular kids and didn't let it completely boggle me down. But in private, in my quiet time in my bedroom, it would make me so miserable, so depressed. And I really didn't feel like the outside me was reflective of the inside of me. And it became also a major health issue. So as early as 8 years old, my pediatrician, my doctor, said to my parents, enough is enough. You're gaining so much weight. The parents aren't making any productive changes to that lifestyle, the house, anything like that. And she sent me to fat camp. So I went to weight loss camp at 8 years old for 9 weeks in upstate New York. I lost 30 pounds. I had to work out all day. We took before and after photos. We did measurements. You have nutrition classes with dietitians. You're doing aerobics and Taebo and then kickball. Not a lot of downtime. You're getting portion controlled meals. And, I'd lose all this weight, but then return back to my old ways and just gain it all back and more.
Wow.
And so I did that yo-yoing pattern for many, many, many years, where I would go to camp, lose 30 pounds, come back to school and gain 50. And by the time I was like 13 going into high school, I had already yo-yo dieted for so many years. I was at the point where I said, absolutely enough. I need a better way. I have to not do this for my doctor. I can't do this for my parents. No one else is going to change. I have to change. Yeah. And at 13, I really took control over the situation, figured out what was working at camp, what wasn't, where I was going wrong, and started my journey. And I ended up losing 50 pounds through high school. I lost another 50 pounds through college. And then even into my adulthood, started teaching weight loss seminars at UCLA, became a registered dietitian. And kind of the rest is history. Now I'm obsessed with helping others do it too in a way that feels more manageable.
It's crazy how you did this journey, from the way you're describing it, really self-propelled, and a big thing that you're about is mindset. And it's interesting that that's been a part of you really from a very young age.
Well, that was the missing piece. That's what I realized, is like I had all the nutrition courses and all these things. I mean, I've been in nutrition class for a long time. Sadly, at that point, we were teaching like the food guide pyramid and 8 to 11 servings of bread a day, which, wasn't working well in my favor. So I had to kind of rewrite the pyramid myself. But I realized mindset was a big piece of it.
And I mean, you're doing so many things now. You mentioned the book. You do the Entra, for those who don't know.
Yeah, I have a daily Entra now, which is
Tell
fantastic.
everyone about the things you're doing right now.
Totally. So I was teaching a weight loss seminar at UCLA, and my seminar was getting better and better and better. The weight loss averages kept improving every semester.
Amazing.
And I was like, more people need this than just, employees at UCLA. So that's when I started my private practice over 10 years ago, and I started seeing, high wealth individuals in the Beverly Hills area. And again, I felt like this isn't capturing enough people. So thankfully, I partnered with a large company and we created my program, the 2B Mindset, which turned it so now hundreds of thousands of people feel like they are my private clients. And just with this video-based program, they went on to lose a lot of weight. But with my private clients and then, kind of managing that community of people who've done my program, I realized there's it works and works and works until it slips. Yeah. And what happens is we live in a society today that is so designed for obesity. If you just did nothing and ate reasonably well, you're not even going to McDonald's and getting fries and Big Macs and, big Slurpees and slushies and gigantic things at Coca-Cola. Even if you're just eating reasonably in America, you are slowly going to be gaining weight. Our portions, our ingredients, what we've normalized to be normal, healthy meals is really all designed for weight gain. And so if you're not deliberately doing my program and watching the videos and reading the book and in that state, even the people who have done my program, they've lost 50 pounds. If you then kind of close the book and move on with your life, you'll probably slowly, with my program, the tools are really there. You might only gain 5 pounds a year. Do you know how easy it is to gain 5 pounds a year?
Wow.
Most people can gain 5 pounds on a weekend just eating a little bit more bread and having a cocktail. So 5 pounds a year is, if you're lucky to only be gaining 5 pounds a year, that's gaining less than half a pound a month. That's nothing. It's so subtle.
And it creeps up on you,
and
you're saying.
Creeps up, and you feel like you're maintaining, but 10 years goes by and the 50 pounds is back, right?
Wow.
So what happens is it can't be something mediocre or in the back of your head where you're always kind of thinking about it. It really has to stay top of mind to some degree, because we are fighting against a culture and an environment that's really sadly destined for us to fail. So I wanted to help people because I realized my private clients and everyone just needs something bite size, some little 5-minute nothing, just a little something to keep top of mind every day. So you're starting your day with, I do care how I feel. I do care about my body. I do crave water. I do want to have more vegetables today. I am capable of being amazing. I am empowered by my healthy choices and lifestyle. This is a great healthy recipe that would support me. These are the ingredients I want to be buying. It's these little reminders to keep top of mind.
Yes.
So you actually can not just maintain your weight, but you can actually very easily lose 5 pounds a year or 50 pounds a year, keep it off and everything. And so I created something called the Daily Entra. Entra stands for Optimized Nutrition, Thoughts, Results, and Actions.
Very cool.
Entra is also on track, you're just daily on track. And every day of the week is a little something else just to keep it top of mind. So Sundays we have recipes, Mondays we have mindsets. Tuesday you're getting a little coaching blurb for me, reminding you little things it's better in the waist than on your waist. When you're clearing up your kids' Cheerios this morning, no need to scarf it down. I need these reminders too. So every day of the week, you're getting a little bite-sized thing ding to your phone. It launches 4 a.m. East Coast time. So everyone's kind of the first thing you see on your phone is that little thing. And it just helps you remind yourself that you're worth taking care of.
And that you get a pocket Ilana with you
every
day.
That's great.
Which is incredible. I mean, you've talked about philosophy, and something you've mentioned before a lot is volume eating, and that you're a big volume eater. And I'm a volume eater too. So I love the concept. Tell me what that means for someone who doesn't understand what volume eating is.
Totally. When I was younger and massively overweight and everyone was trying to help me, there was a whole push for smaller portions, right? The portions in America are going out of control and we have to control it. There's a famous dietitian who I really admire and respect, and I actually worked for and I helped her for her books. And she's known for portion control, as many dietitians and books are.
Yes.
But she was kind of the king of it. And I won't mention her name just in case it gets construed wrong, but she's helped many, many, many people with her philosophy. But I was studying her, helping her, interning for her. She was my dream celebrity dietitian, actually. So she really did help me in my career goals. But her philosophy of, only eat protein the size of a deck of cards and only have, grains the size of a golf ball and all this stuff, I would just look at it and then try to do it and try to do it and try to do it and then binge all at night. And I was just fighting this uphill battle of portion control and the whole concept of it. And in weight loss camp every summer, you would wait online for like 15 minutes to get your portion controlled meals. And once you would sit down, you'd eat it in a couple of minutes, and half the kids at the table would be fine. They would just eat the meal and move on. We're in fat camp. This is what we're doing this summer, and that's it.
Yeah.
For me, I was like, I'm still hungry. I need more. And there was always this concept at fat camp, at weight loss camp, where you had to have the portion controlled meals, but the only thing you can go up for more was vegetables. So if there was like this tiny little triangle of pizza, but there was also steamed broccoli, if you wanted more steamed broccoli, you could get back
You could go to town on the broccoli.
You could wait online and you could ask for that second scoop or third scoop or whatever you wanted. Half my friends at the table, especially when we're 8, 9, 10 years old, were like leaving the broccoli there, let alone going for more. But for me, I was always like, if I could get more food, I'm going to get more food. That was my thing. There were other kids who would work on sneaking food and having their friends soak candies into their stuffed animals.
This is like Breaking Bad.
Yeah, totally. And I didn't care to cheat. I just wanted to kind of take advantage of the system. So I was always thinking, what can I get more and more? And so at 13, when I finally said, I am so done going to fat camp, I've been there like 8 years. I have the Camper of the Year award many times. I need to do this on my own. That's something that really clicked, is like, I was always able to go back for more vegetables. Why don't I start doing that at home? And that's when I realized that instead of having one little serving of popcorn at night while watching TV, still wanting more and more and more, I could just take this massive frozen bag of broccoli, melt a bunch of cheese on it, and eat that in front of the TV for, the same amount of calories, the same amount of whatever, and still lose a lot of weight. And that's when I really started testing the system on myself, using the scale as an objective measuring tool to be like, wow, I was able to eat so much, feel full, and still lose weight. This is amazing. And then I kept leaning into it more and more. And to this day, it's really helpful for me. People write on my videos every single day. People write, how could you eat that? Your videos made me realize I'm not a volume eater, because I would get exhausted halfway through that plate. And I'm like, really? I had that plate and I had another salad that I didn't even show. I like quantity for sure.
But I feel like there's so many people like that. And when you talk about
the tiniest women, Bracha, I get stopped all over Los Angeles. These women are double zeros. They're the teeniest women. They're like, I'm a volume eater. I'm like, everyone is. You would never assume that.
And I think something that's very interesting about what you do is the traditional 90s way of dieting is, no, you can't eat that. You must eat small amounts. You can have things, but in moderation. So you can have like 4 crumbs. You should be hungry because you ate the calories you needed to eat. Yay. I was laughing. There's one comment you made before about how we're set up as a society for obesity. Do you remember? I was telling this with my husband, the 90s healthy. Do you remember
Snackwells?
Not even just do you remember Cinnamon Toast Crunch with an orange on the side and a glass of milk was a part of a balanced breakfast?
Totally.
And we were we're so healthy. I remember telling him I used to feel like granola bars, which were super high sugar now, right?
Right.
That was such a healthy snack. You know what I mean?
Now I call it a crushed up cookie.
Oh, I love that.
But the thing is, with that Cinnamon Toast Crunch and the orange and the thing, it's also, I could never stop, right? So once you're done with the Cinnamon Toast Crunch part of the bowl, then you add more Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but then you run out of milk, so then you add more milk.
100%.
And it was this never-ending thing, and I was always felt like I'm a failure, I'm a binge eater, I'm the mess. And then you realize, no, it's so high in carbs, it's so high in sugar, it's designed to create overconsumption. There's no portion control. So,
but I think that's such an interesting point that people don't realize, because when you go to Krispy Kreme and you have the tiny donut and you're centers in your brain have got a major hit of dopamine, you want more. You can't stop. That's how they've designed that with food science.
And people feel bad about themselves and they beat themselves up and they tell themselves they're a failure.
And that you can never do it, right? This is who you are. You are someone who loves donuts and wants to eat 400 donuts, and therefore weight loss is out of control because you don't want to be hungry. So I like so much of what you're saying has been like part of like my journey as a person. And I really feel like not only do you believe it, but you live what you say, which I think is just amazing.
Yeah, thankfully I truly do. And that's what people say, like, how do you push out so much content? I'm like, I need this. Like, I need these reminders. These are my recipes. These are the tips that I need every day to keep me in line.
How, and we've talked about it a little bit, but people are stuck in a guilt, shame, punishment cycle with food. I think it's something that is very pervasive in our society, that is both weight obsessed, but also, like you said, geared towards obesity. How do you help people break free of that?
I think the first thing is to really silence the noise of others, and you have to tell yourself a better story. I actually have some seminars coming up, like full-day seminars in New York and Florida. I would love if people can join, because like it's really about rewriting that script, and sometimes I need elongated periods of time to help people do that. But, you know, you also have to have a sense of not really caring what other people think, and even like silencing others, silencing your old previous voice, and being okay forging ahead with a new way, because a lot of people just need that reworking system. Like, for example, when you're at Thanksgiving or you're at Hanukkah or you're at Christmas or whatever it is, you're with your family and everyone's saying, you're not going to have the drinks and you're not going to have the cake and what's wrong with you? And it's very easy to just kind of be like, oh, okay, I don't want to be different. And so they say, why should I be deprived? And why should I punish myself? And why should I not be able to enjoy the things I want to enjoy? But if you are the person who's saying, I'm actually feeling good, I'm really like not interested right now, I'm good, thanks, maybe next time, if you stand up, those are going to be the same people that in January and February are going to be like, I'm so jealous, how did you do it? You know, so I think that we get so wrapped up in like, you know, I can't possibly stick to my goals. People will look at me differently. But,
Yes.
You know, I just think that there's a lot of noise in our head thinking about if I don't give myself my, you know, chocolate ice cream that I always have after dinner, I'm going to be so deprived. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to be thinking about it. Like, people have all these like fears when it's like, oh, okay, fine. So like maybe I'll miss it, but then maybe the scale will go down tomorrow. Maybe I'll feel really good. Maybe I'm engaging in a new form of discipline. Maybe I'm going to prove myself that I'm stronger than I think, that I thought. And so I think that we have to challenge ourselves a little bit. And that's what I love to help people get past.
And I think so much, like you're saying, is external, but there's the worst critic for me is me. The worst person inside your head that is, you know, shooting you down and pushing you down, maybe because you've had bad experiences, maybe because you've had trauma, et cetera, is you. And I love what you're saying. Like, it's retraining your mind, because so many of us are self-sabotaging in our lives, and this is one way of that.
I think there's like punishment on both sides. It's like people overeat and overconsume, and then they tell themselves they're bad, they cheated, they'll wait till Monday and stuff like that. But then they're also, you know, not allowing themselves to feel good or work through that. And it's in struggle that you find your best learning experiences. So I really, you know, in this book and my program, I really try to help people like, oops, I overate, now what?
I've seen that on your Instagram, like, okay, like I had a bad weekend, what do I do to reset?
And like there is an action plan. There are things you can do to not just say, oh, I'll start Monday, because no, you have to address why this happens, what triggered it, what would you do differently in the next scenario? So otherwise it'll just keep happening.
But it's so interesting, because people think about like food as just like, it's just willpower, just try harder. But like
it makes me so mad.
It does too, because there's so many people who, like, if it was just about trying, they would have lost the weight. But what I think is very interesting is that like your mindset and your whole philosophy is it's not just food, it's mind and body. And like food is such a psychological, such a like way we show love.
We give it.
Yeah, the way we show love, the way we show community. You know, I've worked with people with genetic disorders who can't eat certain foods. You've heard of PKU, I'm assuming, right? They can't go to their friend's birthday party and eat cake and be part of that, and how crushing that is. And I think until I had seen that in genetics clinic, I was like, I never thought about that food is such a social thing for us. So I do love what you're saying. I want to talk about one thing I think that is interesting in the general community and in the Jewish community as well. It's like the way I grew up, almond moms. Thoughts?
Sure. Almond mom, that whole concept almond mom started based on a clip from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills of Gigi Hadid's mom, who the actual clip, if people saw it, Gigi and Bella Hadid, I forgot which one, is they're sitting there, they're weak in the face, they're obviously extremely thin, and they're saying, I'm so weak, mom, I'm so weak, I'm so weak. And the mom says, have an almond, eat an almond, and you'll feel better. And it was a ridiculous statement. It got the attention it deserved because who eats a almond? 8 almonds, 12 almonds would be more like the 1 ounce, 100-calorie serving size. An almond is clearly the sign of a mom who is also very lean, who has really exerted an immense amount of discipline to eat very little, very small to stay that lean. It was an exaggerated moment, and it deserves to have attention and a name of almond mom. However, the critics now who call everything an almond mom, I get almond mom on every single video I share about my children when I'm making them a lunch of edamame and cucumbers and rice and seaweed. I get called an almond mom. That is not an almond mom because I'm not giving them Takis and Doritos and processed meats and cheese and fries and garbage. That is a healthful mom. That is a mom setting her children up for success. And literally anything you do relating to kids gets this backlash of almond mom. No, I am the opposite. I am not trying to starve my kids of anything. If anything, I'm always trying to nourish them more and more.
But I think this is like hinting at an issue that we have in the extremes of social media world of like, either you're an almond mom or you're body positive, right? And I feel like these are major extremes that are not really like real to what, listen, I'm a mom as well, the realities of most people. What do you clap back to people who say, what you're doing is not body positive, you're shaming people, like people should love themselves for who they are and the skin that they're in? Like, what do you say to that?
Thankfully, that movement is so far gone, and I'm so proud of myself for staying strong through it because it was a lot of years of backlash and pain because all of these people who were the leaders of the body positivity movement or Haze, healthy at every size, now the second Ozempic came in, they were the first ones in line to give themselves a shot, and now they've proved everyone wrong. And now they're like, why, you're upset I'm getting healthy? So all those people, it was a really loud and dangerous couple of years for me. People wanted to cancel me for saying absolutely anything regarding weight loss. I held my ground. I've been there. I know weight loss is amazing. So it was pretty brutal for many years, but I got through it. I think the body positivity movement has really taken a slump, thankfully, because I would say things like, you cannot be body positive without doing positive things for your body. It's one of my favorite lines. I say it all the time. I say it, I get backlash. It makes no sense. You can't be body positive without doing positive things for your body. It's a very clear thing. People would say, that's not what it means. It's not what it means. That is exactly what it means. So I think, that movement is clearly over. There are so many dietitians who I disagree with. They want to push that narrative that you could be healthy at every size. It is not true. You could be healthy at a somewhat larger size. There is a point where you cannot be as healthy as you could possibly be past a certain size.
So I'm gonna kind of question you on this one. I hear what you're saying. You should be living a healthy lifestyle. But I do believe
you can be overweight and healthy.
But that's my question. Yeah, my question is, there are some of us who are people in bigger bodies. I'm a believer in this. I believe that there are people who are going to work out 5 days a week, and one of them is going to be much leaner than the other. They're going to eat the same thing.
Totally.
Purely based on genetics, hormones. There's people with PCOS. What do you say to that? Because I think you should clarify for people that you're not saying everybody needs to be a 00 and under 100 pounds. That's not what you're saying.
No, yeah. Even what the research shows is based on BMI. So BMI is your based on your body weight per your height. So we have different categories. So we have underweight, we have what they call normal weight, which a lot of people are upset at that, but it's like healthy weight or normal weight. Then you have overweight, and then you have obese. And then actually in recent years, we've had to create a new category of morbid obesity. So we actually had to create a new category based on what society has created. Now, interestingly enough, the research shows that based on longevity, people in the overweight category actually live longer.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, it's amazing. The people in the overweight category happen to have incredible health markers. And it's like kind of challenging for some people because people in the overweight category have definitely better longevity than you're seeing in people underweight and so forth, and even some better markers than people in the healthy weight category. So there definitely is something called skinny fat. There are definitely people who are in that healthy weight range who are not healthy, who do not have muscle mass, who have high cholesterol. So yes, you absolutely could be in that overweight category, or maybe even in the obese category in the lower ranges and be very healthy. You cannot be healthy at every size, which is me saying, like, if you have a BMI of 50, 55 plus, these people who are, maybe 300 pounds and someone who's under 5'5", 5'6", it's really hard to say you're not going to be experiencing inflammation. You're not going to have back pain. You're not going to be putting a toll on your heart and other organs.
No, I love that you're clarifying that. And I think it is important because I'm thinking so many family members who were blessed with really great genetics who did eat like a Big Mac for breakfast with fries and a soda and really stayed that very slim, I would say even almost underweight for their whole life. And again, you can't tell me that someone like that is at a better predisposition than a woman or man who's working out 5 days a week, eating healthy and regimented, and is just naturally, their body is a little heftier,
Yeah. Totally. I mean, I have clients all the time. I have one client, she lost 50 pounds with me. I just saw her yesterday. She lost 50 pounds with me. She works out every day. She's so fit, so fit. She got her blood work done and her cholesterol was high. And it made me crazy. Thankfully, I'm very excited that we implemented some changes, and unbelievably, her LDL, her bad cholesterol, has come down.
That's awesome.
And it is amazing. But even without those implementations, without the supplements we had to add in, her cholesterol was still high, even though it really shouldn't have been. Like, she was in that healthy range. She did have the muscle mass. So yes, you can... It is a marker of other things, not just food.
And for me in the genetics world, people are starting at different places in the race, right? Some people are starting with a head start and some people are starting a little behind. You have to work with what you're given, but you have to work. And I think we're both in agreement on that. Mm-hmm. Health doesn't just come to you, like you're saying. It's a process of working hard, making that your priority, making that your lifestyle.
And that is a very admirable thing to do. A lot of people think that that's an exhausting thing to do, or that's narcissistic, or that's being full of yourself. It is not. When you care about your body, it actually shows to other people, wow, they are so disciplined for themselves. They must be disciplined in other areas. I might want to hire that person. That person shows that they can get through hard things, that they show up, even if they're not always motivated, they show up. And that should be something that's celebrated. And I know it's like hard for people to handle because it doesn't feel so good, but that is it's just an indication that if you care for yourself, that you might have more energy to care for others. And I have found that personally with myself, is the more I care about myself, the more I can show up for others. And, one of my favorite things to do with private clients is, sometimes I work with them for long periods of time and it gets to the point where now their husband is sick, now their wife is sick, now they're caring for someone else. And if they just keep their sessions and we could keep them prioritizing themselves, they are such a better caregiver to the others because they're not resentful, they're not feeling sleepy, they're not getting their own aches and pains. They have that energy to get through it.
Yeah. And I think that's something that people misunderstand is if you don't show up for yourself, no one's showing up for you, right? You have to sometimes put on your life best first before helping others. We're moms, we have kids. They need us to be at our best and showing up at our best. And that means taking care of your body and not abusing your body. You've mentioned Ozempic and the body positive movement, and so many people have so many questions. I want to talk about the medications that seem to be in like my world and like orbit everywhere. What's your take on things like Mounjaro, Ozempic, trizepatide, semaglutide? Like, what is your take on that and people using that for weight loss?
Okay, I have like zero, I have like zero judgment, shame, anything to all of it. If you told me when I was 100 pounds heavier that this stuff existed, I probably would have been the first in line. So like all these people, all these like health experts who are fit, who are lean, who say that people shouldn't go on it. Like, I've been there. I get it. I totally get why people want to take it. The caveat is you have to be doing it well. So I have a lot of private clients who are on it, who were on it, had bad reactions to it, had gallbladder issues. Now they want to be able to be without it. I have people who I've worked with who are on it. Now they want to wean off, you know, and every scope of it. So what I have seen professionally is people take it and they don't make any meaningful changes to their lifestyle or health. And what I mean by that is their appetite goes down. They continue to eat their favorite comfort foods. They have smaller quantities of it. They lose a lot of weight. Sadly, they're also losing muscle. They have, you know, the rapid hanging skin and all of these issues. And also they have this now lifelong dependency to this drug because they can't even imagine how they would ever get off of it because they haven't adopted those changes. So I'm actually working on a really exciting project now to help people learn how to wean off of them or lower the dose and find a healthy lifestyle with using these medications. I think they are probably a really critical tool in helping us redirect our mindsets and our lifestyles here in the US. I see that there are cascading benefits to it in terms of there are now a lot more food companies who realize that people aren't buying as much ultra-processed food.
Yes.
It's making a lot of food companies more interested in creating high-protein rich foods and things like that that could help benefit people with this. So I think that there are cascading benefits. I think there are potential risks like everything else in life, but if people want to take it, I just encourage them to keep making positive directions, keep my recipes, keep my philosophies, like keep things that could also help you progress in feeling healthier overall and building and improving a relationship with food while on those medications so you don't feel entirely reliant on them for life.
So what you're saying is this is a tool in our toolbox, but it's not a standalone fix-all.
Absolutely.
Take a jab and all my problems go away.
Exactly.
My question is, and I've seen a lot of this from like a lot of the dietitians, doctors, about like abusing Ozempic. Like I know people, and I won't name names, but people in our community who are like, I have 10 pounds to lose, sign me up for some Ozempic or Manjaro or whatever it is. Like, do you see that abuse, and what does abuse look like to you?
Abuse to me with those medications looks like people having lost already 50 pounds. Now they have their last 30. In that moment, you can be staying at the same dose while you're increasing your exercise, while you're increasing healthy recipes, while you're increasing all these things. Or it could look like people saying, oh, I have a little bit left to lose and I'm just going to double the dose. That is the wrong way to go about it. To me, that is abusing it. Like the medication should get you so far and then you can start building up your other lifestyles. I mean, I can't tell you how many clients I have who are not on these medications who are losing so much weight. I have one woman who literally lost 9 pounds in the last 2 weeks because, listen, she was not eating so well before, but she just said like enough's enough and she just went back deep into my program and it works. Like you don't necessarily need these medications to lose weight, and people abuse it by thinking it's the only way. It's the only tool in the toolbox.
Because it's almost like now there's this reality that we're all being sold. It's like the other, we love extremes in America. Like, of course you need to be on Ozempic. Of course you need to be. Like I just had a baby and I am working through that weight loss and I've done it 2 times and I'm on my 3rd weight loss journey and it's hard. It's hard showing up. It's hard doing the exercise and all that stuff. But like there are all these kind of whispers both like in my friend group and medical world that are saying to me like, just take Ozempic. And I'm like, first of all, I'm breastfeeding, so I'm not going to be taking Ozempic. But it's almost like we've decided like, no, you can't do that anymore. You can't just do it the old-fashioned way. You must do it. Do you feel like you're getting that feeling almost from society or not really as much?
I have a lot of friends who tell me that, you know, and then I have friends who literally did just have a baby and they're 5 months out, 6 months out, and I was like, did you always get back to your lowest weight 6 months out?
Can you say that to everyone who's watching? Every woman, say what you need to say, because we all need to hear it.
I have 2 friends in particular, 3 friends in particular who just had babies like within the year, within 16 months. And they're like, should I just take it? Should I just take it? And I said exactly what I just said. I don't shame people for wanting to take it at all. But you literally just had a baby, and like how fast did you lose it with those other babies? You're probably not this fast. Also, it's probably gonna take a little bit longer because you have other kids. So you have to like take the time to carve out to do things for yourself, just know these medications aren't going anywhere. If anything, they're probably going to be, something you just pick up at CVS without even a prescription at some point. It might be a tablet under your mouth. It might be a sucking candy. Like, it's not going to be an injection forever.
Sure.
So it's going to be there. It doesn't have to be right now. Like, give yourself a few months. Your body is still processing the hormones. You're still swollen. You're still kind of getting your sleep back. You're still might be nursing or have milk still in you. So you don't have to rush into it so quickly. Make sure that you're doing all the other things. It will always be there as an option. And once people do start with them, it's really hard to get off because the dependency is there. So I don't tell anyone not to take them at all, especially at like a low dose while you're building other healthy habits. But I don't think it should be rushed into so quickly because, again, once you start, it's I'm seeing with a lot of people, it's not so easy to stop.
I just like so many things you're saying. Again, someone who is in that postpartum period, we're so mean to people postpartum. We really are. We're like, you had a baby a week ago? Why are you still fat? Why is your stomach still big? Why is your uterus so large? No, I mean, like, in Jewish tradition, right? Like, I have boys, you do a bris milah or a brit milah.
Oh, it's so cruel.
It's just so cruel. So you're like, okay, like with this particular baby, how
my face at the ends of my pregnancies, my face just gets pregnant. Like my last 8 weeks of pregnancy, my face just becomes this round, undefined bowling ball where I'm using all the contour to pretend like there's cheekbones under there. And at my son's bris, I have 2 sons, and at their brises, like I'm just, the face doesn't come down for 2 months probably.
So I was
even
like
when
that.
the weight comes down, even when like my stomach can go down faster than my face. It's wild.
So I'm like thinking exactly what you're saying. Like, I had this baby, I had the worst swelling I ever had. So much though that people would come up to me and be like, did you get filler on your lip? I'm like, no, I'm just really, really swollen. I did not get filler. They're like, you look great. You look like a Bratz doll. I'm like, oh, okay. Thanks, but also no thanks. I was so swollen. I couldn't wear any of my rings. And then it's like, you got 8 days to fit into a pretty dress, and bless the makeup artist that did a very good job with the contour. But like, I'm like looking large and in charge. And like, we make women come out in our community 7 days, and we expect them to put on a pretty face and smile and put on a pretty dress. And I just remember, I'm like, I got like, we all have shapewear, right? I got the most extreme shapewear. I was like, I'm looking skinny at this bris. I don't care if my uterus is still large. Put on like 4 things of shapewear. And I'm thinking, like, looking back, I'm like, this is crazy. You just had a baby. Everyone knows you just had a baby. This isn't, a secret.
I feel like that's self.
It is self, but
there's some women at brises, they wear like a nice flowy dress.
Bless
they
them.
Themselves
Bless
free
them.
And everyone's happy for them too.
But I'm also just like, I feel like, again, like, we're sold a lot of like, you see these celebrities who had a baby 5 minutes ago.
Everyone is fake.
Everyone is fake. And the pictures are fake.
Thankfully, like, more and more people, and Kris Jenner and Kylie Jenner and everyone's sharing more who their plastic surgeon is and exactly what it is. But like, everyone is doing multiple things. There's this, great influencer, Valeria, who's actually Jewish, and she just showed what people are doing behind the scenes, and it's Sculptra, and it's lipo, and it's facelifts, and it's Sculpt. It's all these things, and then what they're showing on Instagram is like their gua sha facial roller, and their moisturizer. So it's so true. It's just
I remember after my first baby, and it's like your first baby, at least for me, it hit me like a hurricane. It was like a lot of different things at once. And I remember like sitting crying, and it was actually a coworker who said to me, he was like, you know why, we were talking about a specific celebrity. You know why X looks that way? Because she has dietitians, trainers, and a whole team of people that get her to look that way after she had a baby. You don't have that. You are a working mom. You are doing your best.
And it's funny, men don't realize that it's also on the men's side. Like, I know the groomer, the hairstylist behind like an A-list actor right now, and he's on this 19-day world tour doing his grooming. And it's funny, it's like, I asked his wife, like, what does he do for these men? It's like a 12-care skincare routine. He's shaving them. It's funny because even like men, we think, oh, they're perfect. Now you see all these male celebrities who are getting facelifts and everything. Everyone's done everything. You have to assume that everything is filtered.
Yes.
Everything is
angled.
Done. Oh, there's just, as with AI now, it's insane. On CapCut, you could just change your fit. It's just crazy. So
I have a question that I've been dying to ask you about. We talked about like weight loss and maintenance and how it's hard and it's an active process. But I think a lot of people don't understand that even when people lose the weight, right? You come to that place you're maintaining, you still have sometimes mementos from your bigger body. And one of them is extra skin.
Yeah, and tons. Yeah.
And you have been, I want to say, like, to me, very brave and courageous, because I am fascinated by all this. Very open about your skin removal surgery. Tell us like a little bit about it, the history for those who do not know what I'm talking about.
I'll share everything. So basically, when I just explained my whole story. So at 8 years old, I already lost 50 pounds. Then I gained it all back by 9. So then I lost 50 pounds again. Then I gained 50 pounds. And I did this yo-yo dieting for so many years that by 16 years old, I had already yo-yoed hundreds of pounds, and I had this like massive tire of extra skin on my lower abdomen. And at that point I was like, I'm going to change my mindset. I'm going to start my weight loss journey. I started cooking myself all my meals. Like at 14 years old, I'm telling my mom grocery lists and making up egg white pizzas and all these like creative recipes, and steaming broccoli and sauteing it with butter and garlic. I'm doing all these things at 14, 15, 16 to actually lose 50 pounds.
Can you imagine if they had TikTok when you were 14? You would have been a sensation. You would have been a sensation.
Of all these like fun things I was making at the time for my friends' moms, you know, who were like coming back from Weight Watcher meetings. So by 16, I already had so much extra skin, and I was already doing and putting in all this effort and doing crunches in my room and going on the treadmill every night and like sneaking my age to get into spin classes. And I had this massive tire on my lower abdomen. I couldn't wear dresses. I felt I would like cry in shopping dressing rooms and everything. And my mom actually did a really amazing thing, and she offered to help me get my lower skin removed at 16 years old. And I did it over Passover break, and it was the best thing a mom could ever have gifted me, because if I continued with that lower abdomen skin, I would never have been able to get my mindset into like, I am fit and healthy, because I would have had too much of this memento of my past self. So I did that at such a young age, and I was really embarrassed at the time. I only told 2 friends, and I thought it would like hurt my shit off. I thought it would, you know, all these things. But had I not done that, I wouldn't have actually had the confidence to lose the next 50 and feel like I have this healthier body. So actually I did that at such a young age that when I got pregnant, like I did that surgery before I had 3 kids.
Wow.
So then when I was pregnant, like I was barely getting like that big round stomach. By the 3rd kid, like it kind of broke through, and I you know, got it. I also lost 50 pounds more and had 3 pregnancies. So I definitely have extra skin in my stomach, but that was one of the greatest things I did. And I never spoke about it until a month or 2 ago, because now I've been very open that I also got skin removal.
Lift up your arms. They look beautiful.
Yeah, I'm so grateful I did it. I had this bat wing on my arms.
Yeah.
So my legs, I always got lucky. I kind of always had smaller legs. So I have plenty of skin on my legs, but not enough to get it surgically removed. But my arms were just this like massive bat wing. It was out of control. And I was always kind of mildly insecure about it, but I would just wear long sleeves.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is ridiculous. Just wear sleeveless. But then I'd wear it, and then I would kind of like, you know, I was just always really insecure about it. Also, I film a lot, so I would see the rippled skin in all my recipe videos. And really having kids will kind of like, my kids started pulling at it and making it a comfort blanket and really exacerbating it. And I realized, you know what? I'm like young enough that I should just do this now so I could really just enjoy them for the rest of my life and not kind of live with this memento.
Yeah.
But I did live with it for over a decade. I think a lot of people are like, I want to remove everything. And especially people who have just lost a lot of weight in an extreme way using Ozempic. I really think it's important that you give it like at least a year or 2 staying at your lowest body weight, building muscle, because you really want to be at that lowest point when you remove the skin. Yes. Otherwise, you're going to have what I did with my stomach, and like you might want to keep losing more, and then it's not going to be the most perfect result. So that's what I would recommend, but people should do whatever makes them feel comfortable. And I've been totally open with that journey, because I think so many of us are just kind of exhausted seeing all these people look perfect all the time. And
some of us have questions like, what does that look like? What does recovery look like? And you've been very honest about it.
People have been so interested. Honestly, If people weren't so supportive, I wouldn't have shared this much.
No,
I
I loved it. I was like, this is like, I have questions about that.
Okay, good. I'm like happy to answer.
Because listen, anybody who's been through a pregnancy understands that there is actually, I mean, listen, I can't say anyone. Many people have extra skin.
I have the tiniest, most perfect looking women telling me that they have to do it. They're just waiting to be done with their kids or whatever.
For sure. And we don't talk about that because everyone's perfect without trying.
And anyone who has nursed a baby, who has breastfed a baby. I mean, I breastfed for a really long time. I love breastfeeding. So I breastfed my babies past the year mark with each of them. I went to 2 years with my daughter, almost 3 probably.
Wow.
So, I mean, with the weight loss and that, like I did my breast, I show every woman at every party. I go into the bathroom and I show, because I just feel like no one's
honest about it.
Yeah.
For sure. You've been an amazing guest. I end off every single episode with the following question. What would you tell people if you weren't scared of hurting their feelings?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh, there's so many things. You don't have to settle for feeling uncomfortable in your body at all. Like at all. There's so much you can do to feel healthier and better. And like you're wasting a lot of time feeling like you have to settle for this when like you don't. It'll take hard work, but like you can get to the body that you're more confident and comfortable in.
Thank you so much for coming on my podcast. How do people find you? I know there's going to be a lot of people who want to connect with you. What's the best way to get in contact, find you, follow you?
I mean, if you want to be a passive observer and get some tips and benefits, I share every single day for free on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Pinterest, and all of that. You're going to find all my content. If you want to actually start like taking actionable change, I highly recommend you join the Daily Entra. It is so inexpensive, but just to keep that daily reminder of what you want to focus on, of how you can do it better, how you could do it smarter, and join a community of people doing it too. The Daily Entra is really amazing, and I highly recommend people get it today.
What is your handle on social?
Ilana Muhlstein RD, and I'm Nutrition Babe on TikTok.
Nutrition Babe on TikTok, Ilana Muhlstein RD. Follow her. Her content is fire. Also, like Trader Joe's hauls. We didn't mention it, but like fire.
All the things.
All the things that you want to know. And she's like a beautiful person with a beautiful family life and so relatable. Thank you for listening to Live to 120 with Bracha. Until next time, a reminder to live long and live strong.